All right, good evening, everyone. It is I of Hypnosis Tarot on YouTube. I will also be uploading these videos to TikTok once I edit them. And so you can watch part 1, which has been posted to YouTube about 2 hours ago. And we're going to continue from here. So there's multiple questions that I've asked the cards. We're going to go through it. So, so just get ready to sit tight and pay attention to these details because there's a lot being said here. So let's get into it. All right. And yes, I'm trying to focus on the cards this evening, hence the setup of the cards. So let's just focus on that right now. Again, my deepest condolences to the family. This reading is definitely done in the best of spirits, in the best energy. And as I said in the video yesterday, just for all the reasons why, on technicalities, this is for entertainment purposes only, but anybody who knows me knows my readings are on point, and I've been reading since 2011. So what is that, about 12 years now? Okay, so let's get right into it. All right, so let's pick up where we left off. So this is another verification with different decks, what have you, regarding who actually went in the home or who was around that evening of this particular demise of these 4 college students at the University of Idaho. Now we have the Knight of Swords here, right? So we have the Knight of Swords, and we can see that he has on these red tinted glasses. There's a horse in the background with a huge sword, somebody who comes in swiftly, fiercely. We see that short black fence in the background. Now, and these images are important because often we can connect them to the actual scenes in real life. So often we can, okay? Otherwise, there's other ways to read the cards. I'm not going to get all into that. Okay, this individual has on the right part of his shirt, there's a triangle. On the left side, there is a circle. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the symbolism is there, but I do know that triangles stand for Delta, right? I'm not in a sorority, never have been. I graduated from the Fashion Institute of Technology, so all that extra stuff was not my forte. So I'm not in fraternities or sororities or anything like that. So I don't know if there's maybe a correlation there, but I only know about this triangle being correlated with Delta due to some math lessons that I've learned, okay? So I don't know what that brown thing is in the back. But then we see this chessboard here, and we see another triangle in the background. So, and something that looks like a badge, actually. Where'd it go? Or the shape of the badge, which is interesting. Okay, so we have these chess pieces, and I looked up what they mean. So we have the king and the knight, which is interesting. So the knight, the king is down. I don't know, these kind of flames or something here, right? And then we have the knight. Now, there's some things to be said about these pieces. I don't play chess. I have the app on my phone, but I'm not a heavy chess player, but I've been trying to learn since last year, okay? Just don't spend too much time in it. But something that I looked up here, and let me throw it out there quickly. It talks about a smothered mate that the knight can make, that has a move called the smothered mate. And it is one of the trickiest checkmates that exists, okay? So, this occurs when a king is surrounded by their own pieces. Now, you can translate that into real life. It's something that may happen when an individual is surrounded by their own people, right? Then it gives different examples of a smothered mate. A smothered mate is delivered by a knight, the sneakiest piece. So the knight is considered to be the sneakiest piece. So to defend against smothered mates, you should always be alert for any knight in the vicinity of your king. Always be alert for any knight in the vicinity of your king. All right? So keep that in mind. Okay, and so in this instance, a king, if you will, needed to be checked. Okay, so you can go more into this. Maybe some of you play chess, but I don't want to spend too much time on that because we have a lot of cards to go through. The last reading was 40-something minutes. I anticipate this one being at least 40 minutes to an hour. And so there was something about this. So the Knight of Swords, they could possibly wear some sort of shades, but this could just be depicting these red lenses. Anything that they may be doing, they are extremely passionate about. That could very well be the case, okay? Whether it's, no matter how big or small, there's a lot of passion behind this individual. They're highly intelligent, highly logical. They're up for any type of debate, okay? And anyone who deals with this particular individual or this type of energy, they need to be very mindful. So, Knight of Swords. Okay, this can be an individual who could possibly be an air sign, right? Possibly Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. If not, they're operating in that energy, okay? And if they're operating in that energy, there's a high intellect there. And there is a warning because of challenging them because they like to test the wits of others, okay? And many will back down from this type of energy. This person is up for debate. They feel like it's an opportunity for them to shine when there's some sort of conflict or opposition. They get to prove their power, okay? His mind is sharp and is a great problem solver. So they will watch and look for the subtle errors or errors of others and inconsistencies, and they know how to flip, get through, or monopolize on it. They're very passionate when it comes to confronting logical situations or arguments. They find it very challenging. They're very analytical. A wonderful person to have on your team, but a very dangerous opponent. All right, so, and when this particular individual can get with some fire energy, which we're going to see, that can be a little explosive or great for actually obtaining or achieving a particular goal. All right, so let's continue here. So I just wanted to give you all that information. So that is the Knight of Swords. All right. Success. This could be talking about somebody who felt the need to get even, okay? They needed to bring balance to the situation. They felt like they did a favor for someone, and they did not return the favor. So they feel in a lower position, and there's a need for someone to make it right, or for themselves to make it right. But whatever happened, perhaps there was an argument, or whatever this was that made somebody feel beneath the other. Because somebody was on a high horse, maybe this person actually literally reads newspapers or what have you, right? It doesn't have to be. A lot of people read stuff online, right? But this is a physical newspaper. That could be it. However, this is someone in a higher position. Oh, sorry. This is the Six of Pentacles here. And we can see one individual shining the shoes of the other. So what I get from this is maybe there was somebody felt the need to get even, but they basically shined the shoes of the other person in the sense of they put candy in the other person's pocket. They let them think it was all good, and when it really wasn't, and hence this truce. Was there a truce between four people, or a particular trust in between four people? Was there a meeting that was had? This card is very interesting. Okay, so take what you will from that. Four Swords. So perhaps there was a truce. So not only do we have that Knight of Swords, we have this Knight of Wands, the rock star. And he's got two other people behind him, a Pegasus at the bottom, some Converses on, a microphone, And wands depict fire energy, right? They're ready to initiate. They can be very impulsive and creative. So, and he also has on sunglasses, but his are a little darker. He seems to be a blonde. The other gentleman seems to have darker hair. Right? The one in the back, they have on a hoodie or what have you. So the rock star, the Knight of Wands, action-oriented individual, right? So, okay, and as I said, these two individuals in the background. So this is another individual that they don't really hold their tongue. This person in real time could actually play in a band, be very musically driven. They don't have to be, but it's, it can be a very possibility. Do they perform anywhere? Okay, do they perform on campus? May this be their style of dress? Keep in mind with tarot, these images say a lot. And then also, they can be literal or figurative. Figurative or literal situations, right? Okay. So, I see this Knight of Swords. Somebody needing to get even. So maybe this Knight of Swords felt the need to get even. This is going to say about the Knight of Wands. So when we talk about signs, right? That could possibly be associated with an individual. Now, this is not necessarily so because this is the energy that that individual was operating in, but it could possibly be Aries, Leo, or Sag, right? But there's levels to that. So we want to talk about just generally that this is the energy that the individual operates in, and perhaps some of the things that they partake in real time, right? So this Knight of Swords feels the need to get even, and then there's a truce. Is this truce with the Knight of Wands? My feeling is more so that these two are in on it together, but anything is possible. When I say these two, it's the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords. Okay, perhaps this Knight of Swords had it out for this Knight of Wands. Maybe this person was partying on a particular night, and this person was sitting back watching them. Does this represent Ethan, or does this represent the individual that they were that were together that night and went into the home? And if you haven't watched part 1, please go ahead and do so. Okay. Also, there's a Pegasus here at the bottom. We see some drums. So if these two, so this Knight of Swords may have been very strategic. There may have been an issue between them and these two, possibly, or between these two and another party or other individuals. And they decided to call a truce. Maybe if this is representing Ethan, perhaps this individual, this Knight of Swords here, could have been at this said frat party, right? Ethan is enjoying himself possibly, and saying everything, and this Knight of Swords is saying everything is all good. But initially, my feeling behind these cards here, when I pulled this particular spread, it was more so that these two were working together. However, we have to consider all things, right? That come out, that how the cards pop out. Art. This is interesting because this is a blonde that's outside. Perhaps they paint or they have, a very artsy way to them. Doesn't have to be literal, right? But they're in the city. These cards are really illustrated based on many things that go on in New York City, according to the illustrator. But we see this individual is blonde and they're out on the street, similar to either Kaylee and Maddie, the night of those unfortunate events. But this individual's by themselves, okay? So maybe it's not Maddie or Kaylee, okay? Maybe this is just another individual, right? Let's see how this all comes together. This could be about patience. Whoever had their hand in this, they were extremely patient. But this is not depicting an actual woman in this situation. They just fell back because we can see the temperance in the background, okay, on the wall. Temperance, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Having balance before making any moves. And there very well could have been a woman in the background. Maybe she was sort of helping to guide the situation, possibly. A very creative individual, but that played in the background and told these two, hey, slow down. However, with the Knight of Swords, did they really need this? We don't know. Maybe this is somebody who was dealing with the Knight of Wands, right? But ultimately, this comes down to dominion. And this person was ready to bust a move, okay? And again, we see the horse. And dominion, okay? 2 to 3 people. I'm going to say 2 to 3 individuals here. And this is by any means necessary. So let's continue. About weapons and what had happened after this situation took place with the other individuals. And again, you'll see some of those answers in part 1. So now we have here 9 of Swords, which is cruelty. Okay. One thing I want to put out there, and I'm not saying this is likely, did somebody have some wild idea that one of these girls were pregnant or wanted to impregnate them? It's just maybe something very strange going on with such. Did somebody lie to another individual and say that they were pregnant? Maybe, maybe not, right? Was somebody involved with something dark? Possibly. This goes back to show somebody, or also, and if it's not that, this is not a literal child, right? This is an actual, an individual who got in a little too deep. They might be the younger one of the group, and if they're not younger, they're just immature. They are, I can't think of the word right now, naive, okay? And that naive state got them in a situation that they couldn't get out of. Also, these 2 individuals, they may have thought that they could get some money out of the situation, and money kept on coming up, okay? Again, this is the Urban Tarot. There's 3 cups on this table. No, actually 4 cups on this table. 1 has spilled over, right? There's also 4 cookies. I can't tell what kind of necklace the guy has on. He has his phone in his hand. 2 individuals here. But there was something, whatever I was looking at when I had pulled these cards, this was connected with something about 5th Ave, 5th Street, and a post office and or a library. Something around that area in Moscow, Idaho. Perhaps this is where these individuals live, or this is where they went the night after the murder. So again, perhaps if there were 2 individuals, they may have very well made their way up to near a library or somewhere near 5th Street. In the library, you'd have to watch the previous video to understand where I'm coming from with that. A library or post office, and I believe it's the post office that is by 5th, and that card speaks, the card that I'm referring to in the previous reading, it speaks to an east entrance. So I don't know if that makes sense for anyone. So they got here and they were pretty chill. Once they were able to get away from the situation and get to safety, they may have even been on their phones. Somebody may have been looking to see, did anybody find out about their dirty deeds? The other person is totally out of it, just to literally like sitting there watching TV. Then we have here completion. There was a sense of feeling whole. And I do think that these people have something to do with the university. This could just be a representation of them feeling completed, because they don't have to be at the university, but, perhaps they were just happy to be done. Maybe in a sense they graduated in a sense somehow in some sick way, or with some sick group they're affiliated with. I don't know if it's a fraternity or just college students or a gang, or if this is just, the way the card pops up and they were just happy to be done. They felt like they had completed a mission. And you see the graduation caps being thrown up, and then they're all in blue, representing that throat chakra, but that's a whole other story. So, as we move on, what I found to be interesting with this particular deck is this Chariot card in the building in the background, and it might, to me, in images I saw of the library or the post office in Moscow, Idaho, to me it was a little similar. I could be wrong. You see this individual on top of a taxi cab, and yellow taxi cabs are or something that you will see in New York city streets on a regular basis. Now, I know that this took place in Idaho. Did this individual take a cab home? Can't tell if anybody is actually in this car, in this actual card here. This person was worried. They may have taken a cab by themselves. I mean, but I don't see anybody who might be drenched in blood taking a random cab home, right? So maybe this was somebody who could have possibly been sitting outside. They took a cab home. They probably, I'm thinking that the 2 or possibly 3, however many individuals were actually involved in the actual action that took place, that they went in different directions when they left. They possibly did, okay? Excuse me. Also, here's the Wheel of Fortune. Things shifted, things changed. And they may have been sitting there thinking that, you know, because as I said in the previous video, things went left. There was a sudden surprise or something, an element of surprise where that they just had to be ready for. And they were. So the Wheel of Fortune represents that shift. This could also have to do with some sort of festival. What do they call those? Like festival grounds, carnival grounds, maybe in Monroe. So maybe it could possibly have a correlation with that. I don't know when they have festivals out there, what have you. I see the Ferris wheel, the lightning, or whatever. Or it could just be speaking to a shift in the energy, right? The Wheel of Fortune. And then we see these 3 odd little faces up there. So, where there are 3 people, once again. You see 2 here, and then we can see like half a face there. And then we see the Sphinx. Maybe a woman in the background that wasn't there, but had some kind of say or influence, right? In this whole situation. Okay. And then they felt victorious. There was some sort of feeling of victory there. Like they got out by the skin of their teeth. There was a gift from the heavens, which is, and I don't even really want to say that there was some sort of element of, what a relief, an opportunity to carry this heavy load, or this, they carried out what they felt they needed to. They felt victorious about it. I don't know if there are any bridges. Are there any bridges between 1122 King up toward the post office and the library? The post office being off of 5th somewhere, okay? And again, these individuals, 2 of them could have very well been along that street by that library. Or a post office off of 5th. Near the library or the post office. Somewhere within that vicinity. That could have been where they went that night. Alright, so then I had asked, I said, okay, so where did they drop the weapon? Where did they put the murder weapon, right? Or weapons? I don't know if this is a wolf, coyote, a dog. But this was the card that came out. We see like a half or a crest. There's a half moon. A broken stair. An albino crocodile, a woman beneath. Okay, so this is the moon card. This is when somebody's not wrapped too tight or a little nut back bush crazy. And so it looks as though that they dropped. They very well could have dropped or had a woman drop if they didn't do it themselves. But I'm going to say that they dropped it themselves more than likely. When we look at the possibilities, in a sewer. Some sort of sewer. And that sewer could have been north from where they were at. Or near some sort of sewer lines, major sewer lines, or city sewer upkeep building, if that makes sense. I don't know what you would call that, right? But something to do with sewers. Look, we have sewers everywhere. So they could have very well dropped the murder weapons inside of a sewer of some sort, literally. Perhaps, yeah, we'll leave that there. But don't get it twisted. Somebody there, if not all the suspects involved, somebody either went to the hospital, needs to go to the hospital, or has a friend who's a doctor. And there are some issues here. They're injured. There's some sort of injury. And they're worried. Extremely worried. Can't tell if that's a man or a woman. It looks like it might be a woman. That's the doctor in the background. We have the Five of Pentacles here. So yes, one of these individuals. And it looks like they're pointing to either here, like the throat. But initially when I saw this card, I thought it could very well be their spine. Well, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's something, they have some sort of something going on with the chest area, like between that clavicle bone. Okay? Some sort of injury. Or maybe something else going on. All right? I just heard scar tissue is one thing that comes to mind. All right? Maybe there's injuries on the hands, or maybe this is just, you know, the way that they reacted with their hands open, right? But somebody is absolutely worried. And I get the feeling that they've already seen a doctor. Maybe a private doctor, maybe not in a hospital, but possibly. Could have very well been in a hospital because they're getting x-rays done. Okay? Maybe they went. So that's something to look into. Perhaps they were from out of town or what have you. Ended up going to a doctor, got some x-rays. But let's be honest. People who have bread or have funds, you know, monies to, you know, do as they may or do as they will, they can pay. I don't know who can actually do x-rays in their home, right? So that might be a far stretch. But they might do x-rays in their office, right? Depending on the level of power and money and influence. Especially in a small town. Small towns have a lot of corruption. Let's not ever get it twisted. And that's why with, I think is it Kaylee or Madison said? I'm sorry, I can't recall. But the father who has been doing numerous interviews, he knows what time it is. There's a lot of corruption. Hands down, end of story. In police departments, and it be your own people. Okay? It is deep and it's dark. Okay. Again, death. The Fool. Failure and strife. Okay, so we're going to come back around to this. This person might even have some sort of heart issues, some heart challenges. Somebody went to the hospital. And this could have been right after. This could have been right after these events. There's no time on the clock in the background, which is interesting. Yeah, we'll leave that there. I mean, if we wanted to say, because that at the top, that's 13, right? Between 10 and 3 a.m., maybe. But that's a stretch. Somebody could have been either at a hospital. I mean, that would have been making it very hot for themselves. Or somebody knows someone who's a nurse. Perhaps, right? But this speaks of death. You know, does this person have a fatality and pass away? Or we just, you know, we just need to look at this in another way. But if there's something going on within this individual's chest, rib cage, clavicle bone, something to that effect. Maybe they were injured in that area. Maybe there is a heart problem or challenges, okay? And I don't know why this doctor has this black circle on their face, but maybe this is somebody who is not on the record. Or if they are in a hospital, they fudged some records, or they did something funny style. There's something funny style to this because they're trying to hide. Even the doctor's trying to hide. Now, what I find to be very interesting, too, don't mind the way I'm sitting. The Fool was reversed. They're on the top of a building. There's a dog and there's a dove. You know, what comes to mind here is like, there's different things being said about this dog, where the dog might have been. Did somebody go in the house and take the dog for a little while? Did they take the dog outside? Were they waiting outside with the dog because they didn't want the dog to make any noise? Did they have the dog outside with them? And while they had the dog, they were watching around the building. And again, we see those triangles on the top of that building, right? Upward and downward. Make what you will of that. So, you know, this is to do with the dog. But no, this is a Fool card. New beginnings. So maybe this person, they thought that this would be a new beginning and maybe a new lease on life, if you will, in a strange way. Again, they could have been under a heavy influence. And they may have thought things were going to go one way, but end up going another. Or maybe they get this news about their health, or they're concerned to be around because they were injured during these events of the murder, the night of the murder. And then they feel like some sort of failure. Now, this is a perfectionist, this Knight of Swords that we spoke about earlier. They feel like they could very well feel like a failure. And this card, it says West 81st Street. We see a bunch of pentacles. Maybe there was some money or some kind of value that they thought they would get and they didn't. Or they weren't able to get it out of this situation. Because in the previous video, I had mentioned that the suspects could have very well went to that home, either for drugs or for money. Was anybody selling drugs? Did they think anybody had drugs? Or did they think somebody had some kind of money or things of value? Okay. So in all of this, there is a woman that they might have been strife with. A woman with some sort of strife. Now, this could have been in the actual home that night. Are they a Red Sox fan? Possibly. Red Sox and Yankees, right? We see two different fields. Is there something that took place within a field, a baseball game of some sort? Was there some kind of bet or deal? But my initial feeling with this is that the woman here thought she might have had one up, either, you know, or been able to defend herself this particular night? Or was this a situation where maybe one of the girls from upstairs ended up coming out and took this individual head on, that when they were in the home, please forgive me, I'm jumping around now, right? Or did this happen previous? Is this showing us something that previously happened prior to the night of these unfortunate events? Okay. All right, let's continue. So let's get into these. These are just some oracle cards. I just wanted to, they're very quick. It speaks about the Metal King. All right, just some keywords. Discipline, armor, and boundaries. And it looks like he's going through a window. Interesting, right? And I've been feeling like, you know, how people have been like, oh, well, was this person injured? Either himself or somebody might have actually had on some sort of armor or something that couldn't be cut through. They were very well prepared for this event. And they were looking toward the sacred union. And this is why I keep saying this is the third or fourth time in which it keeps on going back to a couple. This is why I think this person was focused on a particular couple. Did this couple or one of the couple people in that couple owe him money? Or was he just purely obsessed? Or, you know, or with the young ladies upstairs. But I just keep seeing couple over and over again. So that's the thought I'm going to follow. The High Lady of Love and Compassion, Reverence, Kindness, and Consideration. Okay. This is somebody that they actually wanted. So maybe there's 3 players. Maybe they actually went through to attack 3 different people, but ended up attacking 4. I mean, that's a lot. 3 people's a lot on one person's hands. Did they have on a mask that night? Did they see these 2 making out or, you know, doing their thing? What have you? And some other keywords as far as what these individuals what the suspect or suspects were thinking that night. They had a lot of patience. They were thinking of things like, okay, well, divine order. Okay, let me do everything in order. Let me not do anything, out of the plan. But there's also guilt. There was a lot of pride, loneliness, denial, grief, failure, worry, and ultimately empathy. Or maybe they struggle with such. Okay. All right. So we have, what else do we have here? We have a couple more things to go through, and then we're wrapping this up, and then I will go back and reiterate in a different video. Okay. So we're almost, we're just about to, almost done. Let me not speak too soon. Okay. So let's get into these. Let me move this somewhere else. There's something random here too that I wanted to consider, and I'm just gonna throw this out there lightweight. It may not even be, oh my gosh, somebody's child is crying outside. Oh my goodness, sorry about that. So was there anybody in this situation who dealt with anybody or knows somebody who had been recently locked up or in jail, or was anybody dealing with somebody's wife, or was anybody dealing with a married man or a married woman? Possibilities. I mean, I'm not gonna really hone in on that, but these had popped out yesterday when I asked a particular question, but it didn't answer the question specifically. But since it was thrown out there, we can consider that, but not sincerely. And I'm gonna have to close my window because I can't with the child crying outside. Okay, so yeah, do what you will with those, but I'm not feeling heavy on that. I just thought since it came out, I would mention it. All right, let me move this. Okay, and so, all right, we're almost there. Let me move these out the way. All right, so we have a few more to get into. Okay, so these are piggybacking other questions I asked yesterday. All right, give me a moment. Oh my God. Well, I was going to take a little smoky smoke, but I can't with the child crying outside, so let's move on. So, another clarification. Well, I have a few things going on here. Let me put these cards out. Let's just lay these all out. This would be down here, no? So you can see it. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's start here. He's telling a couple of different stories. 1, 2. Okay. All right. All right, we'll come to this last. Okay. Again, these are already shuffled. All right, we'll get into this and this. Okay. So I'll go over these cards down here first. That's the Morgan Greer deck down here. So another thing is, was there a woman or a female, a young lady, who might have felt manipulated? Were they brought on to this situation? Were they forced to be involved but hidden? Did they travel up with some type of water? Okay, that's a possibility. Again, this is the Six of Swords. Sometimes we can see people either traveling out of town or over. It doesn't have to be out of town, but over water. I mean, look, in New York, you can literally go over a bridge. You're crossing water, right? It could be the smallest thing, but crossing over water or a journey of some sort. But usually you're either going under or over some sort of water. Was this particular individual? Is there anybody right now who, well, let me not even say that. But was there some information, or was somebody, was there a female? Was there a female that felt trapped? That they were forced to say something, and this is what kind of made push come to shove. That they were an insider. Maybe they were being blackmailed of some sort. And so this male here pushes the envelope. He's controlling this other individual, right? Or it could just be speaking to some sort of travel, right? Or that this person comes from out of town. Perhaps they don't live in Moscow, right? But, all things to be considered. We have the Page of Swords, somebody who might be a little, they can be sharp, but either they're young, or I won't say that maybe it's their first time operating in some kind of situation like this. Doesn't this kind of look like a nuclear power plant situation? I don't know, in Moscow, Idaho, if they have anything that looks remotely like that. Also, he looks kind of military, right? Young military individual, blonde. But don't be thrown by the hair color and things like that. It could be depicting the individual, but other times it's just showing you the energy. This person's very grounded. They know how to turn it on and off, their energy. And on this particular night, things might have gotten a little bit cloudy, but they were still grounded in what they needed to do. Okay? So, did one of the young ladies, one of the blondes, did they come out the room and felt like that they could reason with this individual? Or they got caught looking at this individual? Or, maybe they came out of the room? Was there some point in time that night where one of the blondes came out of their room and they thought that they could tame this individual? Now, when you talk about taming someone, especially with this card, with the Strength card, sometimes we see that this is Leo energy, right? Whether it be a man or a woman, right? But here I feel like my intuition is telling me more so that this is one of the blonde young ladies. And did they know this individual? Maybe is this other individual Leo, But again, we talk about energy more specifically. And they felt like, either they're a little bit older or just more mature than this Page of Swords, which again, this could be an air sign, right? Again, ultimately, we're talking about the energy thereof. So, did they know this person? And they felt that they could say, you know what, I know this person. So you tickle their fancy. You put candy in their pocket. You're trying to give them all the reasons why they should move accordingly or be peaceful or not move forward with whatever it is that they're going to do. Because we see that he has this sword in his hand, which is very intense, right? And they're focused. And this other individual thinks that they can tame the beast within this individual. And that's where that one stops. Okay? So when these individuals approach the house, the suspects, there's the Four of Swords, the Two of Wands, and the Seven of Swords. Okay, let's take a look at this. Again, this person has on armor. Whoever this... Well, this can go many different ways. Four of Swords. Part of me is like, okay, this is somebody who was in the home. They were sleeping. Another part of me is like, okay, but look at the armor. Somebody was very well prepared for this, right? Had been thinking about this, dreaming about it. But ultimately, when I pulled this spread, it was more so... was this person actually laying outside? That would be crazy. But I feel like, then we see the Four Swords, right? Four different individuals. I feel like initially what my feeling was is that whoever this was here, they were waiting for them to fall asleep. Now, what's interesting, too, is that it looks like that's a ponytail. Now, I know men and women can have length to their hair, but we see these leaves. Look at this. That's like a ponytail of some sort. Was somebody playing possum? That was the other feeling I got. And this comes right after this. So did one of the girls from upstairs come out of the room? And she thought she could reason with this individual, or she didn't think she would get caught, or she was caught off guard of whatever was going on possibly downstairs? Or was she, did she go to the bathroom, this person popped out, or did this person... I feel like that the girls might have been separated at some point, and then one or two of the blondes upstairs on the top floor, where they pushed back into this room. I feel like one might have actually been sleeping. They might have fallen asleep. Okay? Or perhaps the suspects thought that everybody was asleep for some reason. But let's say that one of the young ladies fell asleep. And not even fell asleep. Maybe they were asleep, but let's go into it. This person gets up to go use the bathroom, runs into this killer for whatever reason. Okay? Does the other one try to play possum? And is the other one led back into the room? Or do they both try to play possum? Or is this just talking about they waited for everybody to be asleep before they made their move? And then there's 4 swords. And we see this window here. We see the clouds. It's nighttime. But this person came prepared, okay? This was definitely not on a whim, this situation. The next card. I'm missing a card. Where's my Knight of Swords? Oh, here we go. Knight of Swords, 2 of Wands, and the 7 of Swords. Here's another thing with these cards, right? Did somebody come over to ask for a particular individual and they were asleep? Did somebody actually come to the door and then they have this other individual here that we cannot see? Okay? And then that's when the action took place. Somebody came to the door, perhaps somebody that they know. And this is why everything was thrown off. Maybe they came to the house asking for a particular individual. But we cannot see who this was. Does this person have a tattoo on their hand? Maybe, maybe not, but something to consider. Wow. This is like a forest. What would you call that? Like a plant. Like somebody you send in. Like they're on your team, but you send them in to ask questions while, or this, an individual might send this person in to ask questions while they're preparing to make their move to run up in the house, right? Or climbing through a window, or being sneaky. This is about being sneaky. Maybe their initial plan was only to utilize 2 swords, but things got out of hand. Okay? Or maybe when this particular individual came, again, as I said, this man might be asleep, but we'll have to go back over that at a later time. So what is this number here? This is 4, 2, and 7. Somebody coming off of that back hill. Somebody was preparing themselves. While somebody else might have literally been talking to someone in the house or at the door. Okay? Or outside that lived in the home, asking about somebody who may have been asleep, or after they had this conversation, they waited for them to go to sleep with that they were asleep. Or heavily meditated on the situation. Make what you will of that. Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, the Magician, 5 of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the King of Rods. This shows a little bit more people in the situation. Again, Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. They're right on the heels of the Queen of Pentacles. So were there 2 men following one of these young ladies at work, or in a situation where they were getting money, in a situation where of value, was this particular individual at home, or is this particular woman they're seeking toward this magician? There was something that they needed to get done. It's a whole other can of worms. Or they felt like, or this Queen of Pentacles felt like she was inclined to deal with a particular situation, but yet really wasn't. Was somebody trying to save another individual? The five of Pentacles. And there was some sort of injury, head injury. Okay? Head injury to maybe one of the lovers. And then we see this Knight of Wands. It's 2 or 3 men that was involved in this situation. Hands down. 2 to 3 men. Maybe 2 sat outside, 2 went inside, or what have you. But when you look at it like this, let me do it this way. I'll pick up that card. So you can see the cards this way. Okay. Knight of Pentacles here. So we see, was somebody still outside? Somebody was armored up, like literally. They had weapons. Did somebody have a bat of sorts? Or just ready to take action? We see somebody in a whole armor here. Pentacles, earth, grounded and ready. This one's ready for action. And then they're watching this Queen of Pentacles. Are they watching the money? Did they think somebody in that home had money? Or that they can make something happen, right? Monetarily. With some kind of either loss of money or just health. Okay? And this Magician. Is this again the couple? That these individuals, right, including this King of Wands, did they think that this couple had some kind of money, if this is referencing the couple? Did they think that they had it all figured out? There was something going on here that made others either think so or knew so. Okay? Again, it talks about values too. Or was this just, depicting one of the females that came out and ended up trying to help this male individual? Was this Xana? Okay? Trying to help her man, her boyfriend, which is very sad. Ethan. Again, we see this Lover's card again. There was a choice to be made. When she made that choice to do so, now that's the King of Wands. So I feel like there may have very well been a situation where people were watching the home, but not only that, not only were they watching this young lady, and then maybe they had to call in another individual, or maybe 2 people were already inside with this Queen of Pentacles, with this Earth sign individual, with this young lady, okay? Perhaps it's part of the couple. If not, it's one of those young ladies. Were these 2 individuals chummy with this young lady? Or was this one of the young ladies from downstairs? Not one of the victims that is cool with this individual? Or maybe this could be, what are the girls' name? I won't even mention the girls' names from downstairs. Right? On that main floor where they weren't injured at all, right? Are these individuals, these males here, do they know those 2 young ladies that live downstairs? Did they not have a problem with them? Do they have some kind of peace treaty came to mind? I don't know why. Some kind of peaceful situations. Do those girls have boyfriends? Are these individuals who came and attacked the other 4, do they have relationships with those girls or those girls' boyfriends and not like the others, right? There's many ways this can be chopped up. Okay? So, in the Knight of Wands. But at some point, I wouldn't really be surprised if there were 2 people outside and they were waiting. They were watching and waiting just in case there was some need of backup. But then that's a lot when you think about it, because people don't want to get their hands dirty per se. Okay? Alright. But somebody was definitely taken off guard. Alright? 4 of Wands, and again, this is piggybacking the home. A party, a home, or the party and then home. Some sort of event. And somebody had it out. Somebody standing in the woods, standing in the trees, watching this couple. Again, the couple keeps coming up tons of times. This is why I'm like on the road up. These people were focused on a couple. Okay? And when they rolled up on this couple was asleep. They were able to see this couple. How? They had their eyes on the couple. So maybe it goes, if you go back to the other video where I said, somebody could have potentially came up the steps, or maybe the door was open. They physically saw this couple, even probably naked, or, in a compromising position, or just, knocked out. And they rolled up on them. This is a wicked energy here. And this deals with the home. And then we see 4 of Wands. And then the fire pit in the backyard, right? Okay, we're almost there. And again, Wheel of Fortune, 6 of Pentacles. Somebody wanted to get even. Maybe somebody was owed some kind of money. That's why I'm thinking too. Was there, did they think there were drugs in the house? Was the drug deal going wrong, Or was it just a matter of getting even about values? Somebody felt slighted. Somebody felt disrespected and they popped out. Okay? All right, so we're done with that. Almost there now. Okay, we'll come back to this one. Almost done here. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, this goes this way. 2 ladies. Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands. Now, remember, it doesn't mean that these people are these particular signs, either air sign or a fire sign, but this is the energy that they may have very well been operating in. We have 2 ladies here. Oh, wait. Did I want to? No. I want to do it this way. Hold on. Here's what I'm going to show you guys, too. Look at how wild this is. Let's really consider this, okay? Look at how wild this is. You have the Knight of Swords. You have, oh, excuse me. I did something wrong. Hold on, let me keep it this way. My apologies. Okay, yeah. There we go. These 2 on the end. These 2 here. These 2. And these 2. Okay, so let's go through this quickly. The High Priest. The Princess of Cups. Prince of Swords. Prince of Wands. Queen of Wands and Queen of Swords. And you know what's interesting about this here? When we see people like princes, and here we have the High Priest and the Queens. Those are actual people. More often than not, and 98, in my book, it's a 98% chance. This is depicting actual people within the situation. With that being said, to me, this is that couple again. The High Priest, strong, confident, ready. Thought he was ready for whatever, right? Grounded individual. At least it would seem as such. Then we have the Princess of Cups, younger lady. Possibly a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, right? It doesn't have to be. Maybe this person's a Taurus, or they operate in that energy. Okay? Then we see here. This is a Druid deck. Look at this. Look at this here. The Prince of Swords. Again, we're dealing with that air energy once again. Air sign energy, right? We're just somebody who was ready. And they popped out. This person blatantly attacked. They were ready. They had some sort of armor. They were ready for this. They may have an injury, but they were very well prepared for this situation. This person intruded. They came right in on these 2 individuals. They came with full force. And then this other individual was right behind them. There was somebody else. Somebody had this person with the sword. They had their back. This other person had a weapon of sorts. A bat. This is like a wand. Some kind of wood. They were ready too. They had this person's back. And at some point, they very well could have come in the house, or they were there. They initially came in with this individual. They had this individual's back. And then maybe while all this commotion is going on, then we see the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Swords. Maybe one came down, maybe one went to the bathroom, maybe one heard somebody's voice. The other was still upstairs, perhaps. Okay? All right, we're going to wrap this up now. I really want to know what she was facing here. Let me just shuffle very quickly. Let me just do a quick shuffle, see if we can clarify that Queen of Swords at the end over there. Swords is clarify. of Swords was focused on at this particular time. We can see with that Queen of Wands, they were ready for action. The Queen of Swords, they were, maybe utilizing their intuition. This one was ready. Passion and intuition. Maybe even had some kind of smaller weapon in their hand or grabbed something to try to fight with. Right, Queen of Swords. Clarify this Queen of Swords. And what is the reason why that Queen of Swords is there? Her hands were tied. Her hands were tied and she decided to be still. That's why I think, too, this other individual, they may have even been sleeping. This other one heard some kind of commotion or what have you, or they decided, hey, you stay here, and the other came out. Or maybe this other one, got up to do something else. It's very many scenarios. I just wanted to do a quickie on that. I'm not going to spend too much time with that because this reading is long enough already. So let's get this together. All right, we have 2 more little piles here. And then I'm out. So quickly. Excuse me, the Lovers, the Wands. Was this at the end? Yeah. Okay. Death. Ultimately, this ended in death during Scorpio season. Okay. The Lovers, the couple, once again, somebody watching them from the hills. Somebody was able to see either this person actually saw these two having sex, saw them making out, was watching them through a window, and it didn't have to be that night, but at some point they did. But I feel like was that night. Then there is a conflict. There is an action. There is an exchange of blows between 5 individuals. Okay. Perhaps there's those 5 individuals, and then this person's hiding out in a room. This came out twice. This came out in another deck too. The person maybe hears what's going on and is scared to fucking death. Or they're high, they're inebriated, there's something going on here. Maybe a nightmare. Somebody was having nightmares beforehand. Then we have the Page of Swords and Justice. I feel like these are these 2 young ladies again. I think shit popped off with the couple. There was a fight. One person might have tried to hide, or maybe this is Xana. Maybe she was in the bed, or this was one of the young ladies from upstairs that was in the bed. But I feel like this might have been Xana. Somebody was in the bed, or somebody had been having nightmares, or what have you. Then you may have this Princess of Wands and the Justice card, the 2 young ladies, and ultimately death. I think that these 2 young ladies might have tried to fight off these attackers. Maybe they heard something. I think somebody was stuck in bed, and I feel like that was more so Xana. And I read somewhere that that unfortunately Ethan was found in the doorway of the bedroom. They don't say where Xana was found. Xana, I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name. And then the other 2 they say was in a bedroom. Let me tell you something. I want to get into that right now, okay? Sitting and standing. One is standing, one is sitting. One is ready for action, the other not so much, right? Some balance. They're like, okay, let me just maintain. And ultimately, it ended in an unfortunate death. You can see here, death. That's Scorpio energy during Scorpio season. Okay, and lastly, I hope I put these out the right way. Again, that's how show you how real it is. Somebody was damn sure in the bed by themselves. Somebody was in the bed by their goddamn self, and not only that, they heard what was going on. Somebody was in the bed, they heard what was going on. I think somebody, within this deck, I believe that somebody heard what was going on. Maybe somebody from upstairs. It could be anybody. It's definitely a female, though, right? Do they have a pink blanket? Do they sleep in white? or again, it's just nightmares, but I feel like somebody heard this, or their mind was plagued with these things. Maybe somebody knew something. Maybe somebody within the home or downstairs, maybe they knew something. I'm not going to say that per se. Or maybe this person was just having nightmares, or they overheard what these events of that night. They overheard what was going on with this particular couple. Again, the lovers. Then we have the Two of Cups, right? Then we have this Knight of Pentacles. Earth sign, somebody offering something, right? And this is a kicker with this dog, because part of me feels like they might have taken this dog outside. These two, there might have been two men, and they were like, "Fuck it, let's just take the dog outside for a minute." It could have went down something like that. Look, those that golden doodle or whatever, those kind of dogs, they seem a little doofy. No disrespect to the dog, but it's not hard to tame a dog. Were they outside for a moment? I don't know. Could just be the depiction, right? So these two individuals, once again, getting their plan together, or however they were going to move. Something again went left. Something sudden. 3 bedrooms. 3 different rooms were hit. And maybe something going on at the top of the house or on the deck. Maybe this is the room that was allegedly empty, that's next to the sliding door on the main floor. Then this is the room of Ethan and Xana. And then the girls upstairs. I don't know. Perhaps, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But again, we see a man and a woman. Things escalated quickly, and this is about getting even, or getting, somebody was owed some money, some values, something of substance, drugs. There was something that somebody was owed. Okay? And they thought it was all good. Knight of Wands, and this person came to collect. Action. They came to get what was due. And ultimately, you see the 2 swords behind him. And the other 5 swords in his hand. 5 swords in his hands. And again, doesn't this look like some kind of circus or some kind of festival, which came up in the reading already? So I'm going to leave this right there. That's it. We're at an hour, 6 minutes, and 2 seconds. An hour, 7 minutes, and 4 seconds. So I hope this reading made sense. I will watch the video back. Both this one and part 1. I will put it on TikTok. You gotta make a new page for it. I will go through it. I will take some notes and see what I skipped, what I didn't elaborate on, and I will come back with more videos. If you have any questions, I've got answers. You can hit me up at hypnosistarot@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment, and we can move from there. Okay? But if you have questions, please do ask. And if there's anything that you'd like to bring to my attention, or I skipped over or missed, please do advise. And you all have a wonderful evening, day, whenever you're watching this video. Okay? Bye. Thanks for watching.